Hi, today we're going to go looking for signs of water voles at the Seven Lochs Wetland Park. So this is a really great activity for children and allows them to get up really close to nature. The mapping part of the exercise is also really good for improving children's skills in identification, numeracy and communication. The water voles are a protected species, so we need to be a little bit careful when we're moving around them. So just try and keep your distance away from their burrows. Their burrows are usually quite close to the surface, so as you can see here, this burrow has collapsed in. So how will you know if you've seen a water vole? I'm going to give you some tips on identifying. So quite often people mistake them for rats, but I'm going to give you some tips on how we know that they're not. So they're about the size of a guinea pig, which could be confused with a rat, but they've got nice little blunt faces, whereas a rat has quite a pointy face to look at. They also tend to be a darker brown to a black colour, whereas rats tend to be more grey. And they've got really tiny little ears, so much so that you can hardly see a water vole's ears, whereas a rat has quite sticky out ears. And the last one between your rats and your water voles is your water voles have a nice furry tail, whereas a rat has a bald tail. And also the length of the tail with the water vole is always shorter than its body length. Water voles are pretty shy little creatures and you'd be very lucky to actually see one. So I'm going to show you some ways of telling if water voles are living in a bit of grassland. So the most obvious sign you can look for is the water vole's burrows. Grassland water voles make mounds a bit like molehills. So the difference is they tend to be a bit smaller and you tend to get them in quite large groups. Water voles feed on many different species. They're really diverse eaters. They like to just come pop their heads out of their burrows to keep them nice and safe. So quite often you can see these areas which are nice and short around the edge of the burrows where they've just been nibbling around the edge. It's another reason why they have a lot of burrows, so they can move to different patches without actually having to come above the ground to keep them nice and safe from predators. So a wee way to tell if a bit of vegetation has been nibbled by a water vole is to look for a diagonal slant at the top of the blade of grass or the leaf. You may also find a water vole latrine. This is the name for a water vole toilet, where you'll find their poo that looks like black Tic Tacs. So it's great if you can record your water vole signs. And a really good way to do this is to download yourself a map. So I've got one here at the area we're at today. Here's the medical centre on our map, and I can just see it over here at the moment. So this is our map round the right way. We've got the main road going along there, so we're good to go and get mapping of our signs. Start in one corner of your map and walk lines up and down the whole area to make sure you don't miss any signs. Your lines can be about 1 metre apart. So this is me here on my map, and I can see I've got a water vole burrow down here beside me. So I'm going to mark a little red dot with my coloured pencil on here, and I'm going to make myself a key. So I'm going to make red dots the symbol I'm going to use for all my burrows. So I'm just going to write burrow beside that, and then I'll do the same for the other signs I find. I'll make a new symbol for each different sign I find, and I'll mark them on my map. We'd love to hear about if you've been out on a survey and show us what you've seen, and you can share what you found on our social media at Seven Lochs.